Another thing is that there's this myth that if you see a system that behaves in a way that is not singlet normative, so not pretending to be one person and not suppressing behaviours that would make them look otherwise, overt presentations, or even just being able to see that people are talking to each other out loud in one body, or like anything that's just normal plural culture, that's normal for us. If people see there can be this triggered response. So how we mentioned earlier, the brain tries to categorize quickly if it feels like there's a threat, and we've all experienced a lot of triggers in a lot of places, so the trauma response can be quite strict and quite sudden. So this is when people will see these things and go, oh no, threatening. And one of the ways that the brain does that people do that, is to go, oh no, if people see this presentation, it invalidates mine. It's going to make clinicians not believe me. That's a lot of what we see. Now, unfortunately, there is a lot of lacking of plural competency within society. Just like other forms of cultural competency, clinicians really need training and education to understand the presentation of different plurals and different systems. And they do not have it. A lot of the, I think it was the McLean video that pointed out, even in their own statistics, how highly DID was misdiagnosed. That's not the case with people who say specialise in dealing with dissociation. People who are trauma-informed and specialise in working with systems, and people who are plural, they're going to have a degree of competency and a degree of person-centred care and good therapeutic practice that means they're not going to make this snap value judgment in an uninformed way. So they're not going to take somebody else's presentation to read the presentation of a completely different system. That's just not going to happen. That's not good practice. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. It does happen. But it doesn't happen when you're dealing with a good therapist, a good clinician, somebody who understands and is educated on working with systems, because they're going to behave in a way that takes account of the individual people. Like even on really basic level 1 counselling courses, you learn about person-centred care. So people will be applying that if they're educated in what they're doing. So that's not something to worry about as long as we go to somebody who knows what they're talking about. Unfortunately, a lot of people do not understand, do not have the training yet. And there are a lot of clinicians and a lot of therapists who make misinformed value judgments based off of misinformation within society. And that's really sad. And the damage that does to systems who go to them is heartbreaking. And I wish it didn't happen. The problem is that then there's this victim blaming narrative that it's other systems to blame, like it's the presentation of people who are comfortable and presenting that way that make it hard for other people to access care. And that's just not the case. The problem is the lack of plural competency from clinicians, the lack of training and education and resources around plural-centred care, and the lack of trauma information from people who are working within the profession dealing with traumatised people. The problem is lack of education and understanding. And the more we shut it down and close down people who are behaving in a genuine and an authentic way, but it's just a presentation that has been shut down for so long in society that we say, no, that can't happen, the more it's going to happen, because the less understanding there will be about what healthy plurality looks like. So this is why it's so important to me to have these conversations and to share our experiences as it is in society, because our presentation is normal, healthy, plural representation and visibility, and that is so important so that clinicians and systems and non-systems alike understand what the vast array of diverse experiences can be